Hi everyone, welcome to part 2 of our Final Fantasy XVI Minimalist Challenge. There's a lot of things that happened in this video today, so I just want to go over it as they happen. But this is just basically a showcase of how combat encounters go on this difficulty especially. A lot more enemies will start using more magic and stuff to buff their allies. And because of that, I basically spam punishes or mortal blows to end the fights as quickly as possible without taking that much damage. So you'll see me do like the same combo and then zip to them just to finish them off because it's just so much faster. And having to deal with spongy enemies, especially late game, is going to be really bad. So it's pretty much my go-to strat because it's just you can't afford to take that much damage, especially when I'm not using that much in items. There are some things in this challenge that I have, I guess, tweaked. Not that I've broken the rules or anything, but we're gonna see later on how good retry option can be for at least some fights. So I have made some alterations that I'll go over later as we see it. But for now, I'm pretty much just playing through the game as intended. Technically, Final Fantasy mode, you're supposed to have all icons equipped, but I'm a fool and I only have Phoenix, right? So Phoenix is a really solid icon. The problem is with just the Cyclone and just like the normal like Rising Slash. It's good for damage, but it's the recharge that really does it. And since you can't upgrade it, it doesn't do like more damage, and you can't equip accessories to increase cooldown and all that jazz. So having just this one is kind of rough at the start. But once we get Garuda, it really gets a lot easier to just use it in combo with Garuda. And with Garuda, it's actually a lot easier to do air combos, which I try doing a lot more of because it just does a lot more damage. And staggering is a key in this game, especially on this difficulty. And the way that we're playing it, we're going to have to stagger most enemies that at least can be staggered. Otherwise, we'll be dealing with spongy enemies and tanking too much damage, because Torgal can only heal very small amounts of health. So if you don't know how this game works, that gray part of my health bar, it says how much I can heal from Torgal, and after that, I cannot heal past that without items, which we can't use, obviously. So a lot of combat encounters I will definitely just fast forward through because they last up to 5 minutes. Especially when you have like flans thrown in. So I just kind of have to speed through it because it takes a while. Not that it's difficult per se, but it's just that your weapon's so weak. You just have to pick away at them. And that's pretty much going to be the trend for 99% of the game. Like, we just went through the best part. So we're just about ready to see what happens when we retry during a boss fight. Now, I'm about to screw up here and dodge way too early from this next attack, I believe. On this headbutt. Right here. So I dodge a little too early and then I die. So, when you hit retry, it brings you back to the last save checkpoint. The thing is, a lot of boss fights have a checkpoint when they hit their next phase. So, what you're about to see here is, I used to be at like no health, but all of a sudden, I'm at full health. And he is not. So that's really, really strong. And I've been debating whether or not to really use it, especially like on like later fights where the fights can drag out for like over an hour, like the Titan fight, for example, or Bahamut. Because holy shit, man, that's way too strong to have. So later on in the challenge, you'll see me kind of stop doing that and actually use like one item just to compensate, right? And then like debate whether from there I should retry or if I should just redo the entire fight, which again, depending on the fight, is really long. So we'll cross the bridge when we get to it. I also don't have like a million hours a day to play this game. I have a full-time job after all, so I've been kind of, if I can get through it without cheesing it, I will. But if the fight is over an hour long and I gotta keep redoing hour-long fights, I just can't do it, right? So, yeah, that's retrying, and I'm kind of debating whether or not if it's something I should continue doing. But now, depending on the boss, we'll just see.
Come on. Stand back.
So this mob fight's nothing special, but it's a mob fight right before the next boss, or the last boss of this mission, I guess. I don't know if I should call it like a level like a mission or something, but it's technically how it's like organized inside like the chronolith or whatever. So anyway, the Griffin isn't necessarily hard. It's just kind of again another roadblock that I have to deal with because I can't progress unless I kill it. So you're gonna like most of the fights, like I said earlier, I just skip them because it's just taking way too long, and we're not even like halfway through the game yet. This is still like the beginning, and like holy crap, man, this is it takes a while, man. So nothing out of the ordinary there. So this next fight against the Midnight Raven's actually kind of rough. It actually got me killed a couple times, I believe. So um, this boss fight's kind of annoying, at least in the first phase, because he has guys with him. They go down pretty easy, but it's just like your camera always locks on the enemy that's closest to you. So if they just happen to be in front of you, your camera will snap to them, right? And it happens a lot in the mob fights, which normally isn't a problem. But when you're fighting like a boss, it's kind of noticeable. Not that I like it's a problem to me or anything, but this fight goes on for quite a while. And this one actually introduces a new like quick time event, which you can't see on Final Fantasy difficulty, but uh, it's just the attack button. You're also gonna notice I don't magic burst every combo. That's mainly because A, my timing is either slightly off, or I just don't find it worth using a magic burst at that moment. Because if say he's in the middle of a combo and I'm like trying to do a magic burst combo on him, I might get stuck in my own combo and then get hit, right? So if I see that I might get hit, I'm not gonna go for a magic burst. So if anyone's wondering why I don't do it every single combo, that's why. And doing it in the air is also pretty tricky because you fall down pretty fast. So that's why I also don't do it much in the air. I do it like at the end of the combo kind of thing, right? Like if I do like it's like you get like a 3-hit combo in the air. So on the last hit, I'll do an aerial burst, and it normally sends them straight to the ground, which you can then punish, depending on the enemy anyway. So the fight here is like nothing special, but that quick time event is actually his first phase, believe it or not. So I won't have to worry about that anymore. But his next ability he's about to use after that wind, like cyclone, uses this move called Assassinate, and my health goes down a lot, and it's kind of tricky to dodge when you only have like Phoenix, and the trick I was trying to do here is trying to get into a corner, so when he like zips in front of me, I can just run to the side of the corner and have him stuck there, so I can do a combo on him. But I messed it up, and I think I messed it up twice, at least like during the fight. So sometimes I get it, and most times I don't. So yeah. For the most part, though, this boss is just really agile, and he has a lot of moves that punish you for trying to be too aggressive. So, like, trying to, you know, find an opening is really tough, especially when you don't remember everything about his moveset. This is actually the only boss I got through without getting hit on normal mode, but that's with all icons, right? So, once again, though, we're gonna see how strong the retry feature is, right? So, I'm gonna be back at full health again, and he is not. So, again, it's like I don't know if I should use retry. So I think when I was doing the Shadow Clive fight, when you unlock like Overdrive legit, that's when I decided to just stop using Retry, at least for that fight, and just use like an elixir, because he got full health, and it's the start of a new fight. If I click Retry, oop, phone, sorry about that. But I just used an elixir and then just continued the fight as usual, and I got through it without dying. But if I would have died, I wouldn't have hit click retry. I would have restarted the entire fight. At least for that one. That's as far as I've gotten as of recording this video, and I'm still trying to figure out exactly how I'm spacing this out, because I don't think I can fit the Ifrit fight and stuff in this video because it's already long enough as is, and I don't want every episode to be like an hour long. I kind of want them to be within like half hour, but that's probably not reasonable when I play like a large chunk at once and just kind of lose track of time, and it's like, ah shit, I gotta make like a video out of this. I can't just keep playing around. So it's complicated, but that's a me problem though. Don't worry about that. But there's the like the dodge trick I was trying to do, just trying to get into a corner so I could just dodge it. And normally I get it pretty easy. I don't know why I missed it the first two times, but like, it is what it is. Like, if I find that once I have lower health, I start to focus a lot more because I'm about to die in a hit, right? So, I don't know. It's so strange to me how I miss some of these dot timings. Like, I've done it before, twice actually, but you don't remember all of it, right? So a lot of boss fights and a lot of like playing through the game again in a way I haven't before is different. Some boss fights don't even last like too long, or I just spam potions and get fine again, right? So this game's making me play a lot more passively, which is kind of a good thing, It's a different way of playing it, because normally, you just do your own thing. Like, once you find like the 3 icons you like, or like a loadout, you pretty much stick with that, right? And for example, my loadout in my like second playthrough was Shiva. It was Bahamut, then I switched that out for Odin, and then I had Ramu, I believe, and then I switched him out again for Garuda? Yeah. I also just realized I accidentally used a potion, or not potion, but a stone skin tonic, because it was on my shortcut list and I was mashing directional buttons, which is why I put auto Torgal on so that wouldn't happen. So I accidentally used the defense buff because I mashed the directional buttons. Like, normally that's a problem I have in my casual playthrough, because I'm trying to get him to like do a bunch of stuff. But sometimes I forget. I fat finger the left directional button, and then I start clicking like sick or ravage, and then I realize, oh wait a minute, I just used a potion, or shit, I just in this case used a tonic when I didn't mean to. So I didn't mean to use that item, but at this point in the fight, it's like, should I restart when I got so close, or should I just keep going? And I just did the latter, because it's like I'm already at the end of the fight, right? So I might as well just stick with it. It's a defense boost, which, it's a bit cheating. But again, that was a complete accident, and I probably would do the fight again, and it'd be the exact same thing, except without the tonic. Like, it really didn't do much, right? So this last part of the fight's literally just, like, mash the attack button, which for me is R1 and R2. And I think I did that because it was just muscle memory from, like Dark Souls or something, so that's why I have the button layout as it is. So it's kind of weird when you have to mash R1 for, like, the cinematic clashes here. But I got used to it after, like, 2 playthroughs, right? But after that, Midnight Raven goes down for a chunky 50k. I wish I could do that much damage normally, but, we can, I have to wait until they're staggered first, right?
Is that thing? If this means what I think it does, then Sid has some explaining to do. Too slow. Get him, boy! Sick of Torgal. A little help. Sick of Torgal. Over here. Get him, boy. Get him. Get him, boy. Sick of Torgal. There, boy. Over here. Don't let them get away. Get him. You know what to do, boy. Sick of Torgal. Get him, boy. Get him. Get him, boy. Give them all you've got, boy. Get him. You better be on your way, Sid. Get him. Sick of Torgal. Over here. Sick of Torgal. You know what to do, boy. A little help. There, boy. Get him. Sick of Torgal. You're finished.
So now we're getting into like the really long mob fights, and it's just that back to back to back to back. This video, like this specific like level here, I think took me, I don't know, at least 7 minutes or something, like just to get through like this one section, and I'm now fast forwarding it by like 4 times, and it goes on for quite a while. Again, this is going to be a trend for the majority of the game, especially in this difficulty. And you notice I'm also like skipping cutscenes because I'm not really going to show much in the way of cutscenes. This is the challenge and stuff. I was considering like adding some in or leaving some in, but at the end of the day, I just I don't have time to just sit through a bunch of cutscenes and then sit through the cutscene again when I edit it just to nitpick bits and parts of it. So. Unfortunately, that's just how it has to be, because I just don't have time for it. But I think this is actually the first instance of Protect in that fight that we're barely seeing. And because I don't have like Burning Blade or like Fira, I'm actually having a really hard time dispelling it. And it kind of sucks because I have to use like Rising Flame, or I have to get like Torgal to see if I can like ravage them and see if it works, because I just bounce right off them if I try hitting them. Bravery, which we haven't seen yet, isn't much of an issue. They just do more damage to me, which I could manage if I can stun lock them, because most enemies I spam punishes, so if they don't have a chance to get up and attack me, Bravery is pointless. So Protect's probably like the worst thing that can happen next to Cure, because Cure just drags the fight out, but Protect makes it so I can't actually hurt anything. Even with like my basic like spells with like R2, it still doesn't really do anything. It does very little damage, so that is actually a big problem. And having to use an icon ability when I could use it against, you know, a group of enemies for damage kind of sucks. So keeping that in mind, fights like that is going to really suck for me later on. The sister fight here is a bit tricky, because I normally just focus on one just to get them out of the way ASAP, because fighting 2 at once sucks. One spams projectiles and one tries to get more, like, closer to you to attack, and that's the one I actually try to deal with first. Trying to dodge projectiles off screen kind of sucks, but I'd rather try dodging that stuff than take a full like melee attack, because that's going to do a lot of damage, especially when I can't heal, right? So Clearly, I'm not the best at perfectly dodging everything, but I'm gonna let this fight play out without me talking much over it. But that's my process for this fight: is just take out Chirata first and deal with Saparna last when she's more vulnerable, because she doesn't retaliate as hard as Chirata does.
There, boy! Keep your distance, boy! Get him, boy! Get him! You know what to do, boy! You know what to do, boy! Sit! Sick of Toggle! Get him, boy! Not this time. Sick of Toggle! Get him, boy! She doesn't look happy, Toggle. Come on. You know what to do, boy. Sick of Toggle. Don't let them get away. You know what to do, boy. You know what to do, boy. Get him. Sick of Toggle. Get him. Get him, boy. Get him, boy.
So similar to the Midnight Raven fight, this fight gave me a bit of a hard time, and I actually had to retry it 3 times. So I want to let this fight play out as well without me talking, but retry is a hell of a thing.
Get him. You know what to do, boy. Don't let them get away. Sick of Toggle. Too slow. Sick of Toggle. Get him. There, boy. Get him. Sick of Toggle. Get him, boy. Sick of Toggle. You know what to do, boy. Where is he? I won't ask again.
You pay for that. dodge this. Fucking duck!
Toggle!
Cry all you like. There's no one to save you now.
Too slow.
Out of my sights!
Not this time. Not this time. Not this time. Too slow. Not this time. Too slow. Not this time.
Time to join your pet. I'll bury it together! Stay down.
Not this time. Shit!
Bad luck.
boy. Sick of Torgal. My wounds, boy. Sick of Torgal. Get him. There, boy. Sick of Torgal. There, boy. Get him. You know what to do. Sick of Torgal.
Alright, so now that we beat Benedicta, we actually unlock Garuda icon, which means we actually have more combo potential and damage output now. So that's pretty huge. I always like Garuda. Her abilities are actually pretty good, especially for staggering, which, since we can't upgrade, she might be a mainstay in my arsenal. Time will tell, of course, but so I'm pretty confident in her, to be honest with you. So now that we have that, it makes fights a lot easier, especially with like aerial targets and whatnot. So it was pretty exciting getting that, because now I can actually like do more than just like zip toward an enemy and just deal damage. Because like I said, the Twister and the Rising Flame is good, but it's not that good. Like once I get like I don't know, like Titan even, his abilities will be a lot better for damage. But the only thing that Titan lacks is a way to close gaps. He's really good for like defense, which I might need. So I might replace Ramu for that later on, for sure. I don't really know what the plan is yet, but it's definitely useful, especially for avoiding attacks and taking care of like giant enemies, especially like the Iron Golem and stuff later on. Using Deadly Embrace is a good way to get over enemies that are like swinging like horizontally at you. So it's going to be a good tool defensively and offensively, so I'm really confident that Garuda will be a really big help here. For a lot of boss fights in the future, what I might start doing, instead of showing every single death I get, I'm just gonna like skip after the retry I do, instead of watching the attempt where I get them close to dead in my first try and then fail and then have to rewatch all of the fight again, but I'm at full health this time. So it's like I might as well just cut it out for time's sake, because videos would be like over an hour and a half long, and that's just not reasonable. And I wouldn't personally watch that either. So I'm just gonna make it a little shorter. And I am sorry if that Benedicta fight was a little long, but it is a longer fight, especially because I do like no damage. So the like actual Garuda fight that's coming up soon, I'm gonna be doing pretty much something similar. I'll get to like the next phase of the fight and then just skip through after a retry, because I did die to Garuda once, and then I had to redo the fight, but she had like half health. So that's pretty much the last time where I'm like, you know what, I'm gonna retry, because it just felt a little cheap, you know. It's like at this point I was like, maybe I should just use an item like an elixir or like a high potion or two, and then just continue as is without using retry, because it just feels cheap, because like the enemy is half dead and you're not, you know. So I don't know, it'd be really cool if I can do these in one try, and I get close, but it's really hard to when you don't have any way of like using any items, right? So it's tough, especially with only 2 icons equipped. But Garuda is a really good like icon for boss fights, and even this dragon, you see me like staying in the air for a couple seconds and then just avoiding all of its attacks and stuff. So really useful for like defense, like I said, because it's actually absurdly good. Even like unupgraded, Deadly Embrace is really strong, and it's gonna be a keeper for sure. There's nothing like super in depth about this fight. You pretty much stay between her legs and then just wail on her. Don't take that out of context, by the way, but that's pretty much the gist of this fight, and it worked for me anyway, because a lot of her attacks are like in front of her, or she'll turn around and then try to hit where you were. But if you're already like, again, between her legs, you just move behind her, she's gonna miss half her attacks. So once she gets like through the first phase, the second phase she actually starts trying a little bit and like actually uses like tornado, which has a big AOE. So aside from that, it was a really simple fight. And then the like a free Garuda icon fight, like the first one, is pretty simple. Nothing out of the ordinary. I'm not gonna talk much over that one either, because it's pretty much like the same, no matter what you do. Because with Clive's stats, I don't think really affects Ifrit. So like he is the same strength as you were at level like 5. You know what I mean? So I'll just let the rest of this play out without talking, and see you soon.
am a monster! And I deserve to die! So end it! End it now! Please! Please! Ah!